This is Megan and Carrie Flett from Boulder, Colorado. Today's story is on forgetfulness. We asked some friends to talk about why we forget and how we could better remember. My sister Carrie and I invite you to watch Remember, Don't Forget.
My name is Cindy Monet, and I work here at Crestview Elementary in Boulder, Colorado, and I teach a 4th grade class filled with young, wonderful, inquisitive minds.
I'm Stephen Tendry. I live in Erie, Colorado, and I go to Crestview Elementary. I'm in 4th grade. My name is Katya Ray Brusha from Boulder, Colorado. I'm in the 4th grade and I go to Crestview Elementary. My name is Madison Kraft. I go to Crestview Elementary and I'm in 4th grade.
I'm Cheryl Brown. I am from Boulder, Colorado. I'm Madison's grandmother.
I'm John Lewis Robbins. I'm 93. I'm still able to remember. I run my treadmill every day, and I'm still looking after all my affairs. And the real reason I'm able to do that is because I practice it every day.
I want to have good thoughts almost all the time.
I think we forget because we have so many things on our to-do list, and sometimes we do the things that we normally in our routine do and forget some of those special items on the to-do list. But sometimes we just have so many things on the to-do list, it randomly selects things to just throw out that you can't remember. At least that's my experience.
We forget sometimes because there's too much going on in our lives and you're just being rushed and all that. So you're like, what do I do now? I was going to school just the other day and I brought my CD player and my mom told me not to. And so when we got there, she's like, oh my gosh, you forgot your coat. And it was just terrible because I was late for school and everything. And then on the way there, I forgot my lunch pail. And so I had to come all the way back again. One time, my friend forgot to come to my birthday party. And we were really late and we didn't get to do all the things that we were supposed to do.
In order to live a successful life today, you have to learn to discriminate immediately, quickly.
Well, one of the things is that when my husband and I go climbing after school, he'll come to the school and pick me up, and then we'll drive to the climbing area. And on the way home, we'll forget that my car is still at school. And so how are we going to remember not to forget my car? And so I said, here, take my hair tie it on the gear shift. And when you touch the gear shift on the way home, you're going to say, why is it? And you'll remember my car is at the school. And it happened. We were able to come back and get my car for once and not drive all the way home and realize we left my car at school. So just something that'll, even just a tactile kind of item that you touch, that you know you're going to touch, will remind you of something that you're not supposed to forget.
It's a balance act. If you didn't have to forget, like if you couldn't forget, life would be so much easier, you know?
What is this thing that sparks memory? It's interest. Interest. If you're not interested in something, it doesn't, you don't remember it. The mind sort of senses that you don't really want it, and so you can't recall it.
One day we had homework and I forgot it at home and I had to stay in for recess and write my teacher a note. Sometimes I forget to practice on the piano.
Things that I tell the kids how to remember something is put something in your way of your normal routine. So For instance, my husband will throw a paper in the middle of the hallway that he really wants me to read before I leave the house. And I said, do that, so it really just gets in the way of where you're going to be having to travel throughout your house, and it'll remind you, it'll be one of those things.
When you get older, your brain sort of like, you can't remember stuff very well. It's just, your brain starts to go, it's like you go upstairs or something and you go, what was I here for?
Practice. Remember it in different ways, not always in the same way. So there's a difference between memorizing and knowing. So I try to get them to know it in different orders so that they actually know it.
There was a scientist called Coué, and he said, I can make anybody remember anything. And nobody believed him, of course, but the results were absolutely outstanding because anything you wanted to remember, you were able to remember using his method.
One of the things that I do in order to remember to do things is I put sticky notes, and it used to be that I'd try to figure out, well, where should I put my sticky notes? And I thought, I have to put them in my way. It still has to be something that gets in my face.
You have to form a pathway right up to the subject. And if you can't remember the main subject, you can nearly always remember something on the pathway up to it. You have to use interesting things to you in order to spark this, but if you make the pathway of subjects that are interesting to you, you'll always get to the final thing you want to remember.
The string trick on your finger works. It truly does.
Pretty cool, huh? Remember!
Don't forget.
What do I do to remember? Usually repeat it, not so much association, but you repeat things.
Well, if it's like forgetting to pick up your kid, you could, before you get frustrated, you could take 10 deep breaths.
I have a note here to remember the forgetfulness thing that I want to remember to do with you. So, forgetfulness.
Boy, I pulled that out of it. Is that any good?
That's very good.